My name is Mechell Marshall, and I am a registered nurse and a registered midwife. I'm also the second vice president of the National Organization of Women, and I have been the second vice president of the Barbados Nurses Association for some time. I travel and speak on behalf of nursing and nursing issues. Since the days of Dame Nita and Dr. Peggy Antrobus, those early pioneers that would have gone and would have spoken about this whole unequal distribution of labor, those issues are still on the table, and we're still trying to deal with those things. Along with the whole issue of domestic violence. The whole issue of domestic violence, and particularly intimate partner violence, because when we talk about domestic violence, you're talking about any violence that occurs in the home. But when you're speaking about intimate partner violence is when it becomes a bit complicated, because then there's the intimacy associated with the violence, which then kind of complicates and makes the whole, the whole conversation about domestic violence very, very ticklish. Because persons would often ask, why is she still with him, or why didn't she not leave? But it's very, very complicated, and we shouldn't really judge the situation, but rather as a society, see how best we can help this lady or the family get out of the situation. Yes, there's an ongoing dialogue about domestic violence, and I do believe that there's always more you can do. There's always more you can say. There's never enough, because if we get comfortable and say that we've done enough and just begin to relax, then there might be a greater emergence of the problem. So yes, in fact, we are going towards our goal, whereas domestic violence is out there, persons are hearing about it, but the reality is that there's still there's still so many gaps are open. You want to ask yourself, has this been what the early visionaries fought for? They fought for the right to vote, the right to divorce, the right to have your bank account, the right to be educated. So you have all of these rights that have been given, and now there's this kind of obscenity in terms of what society is accepting, because women, whether they admit it or not, they like to be beautiful, they like to be attractive, they like to be celebrated. So when you put on this, some women, when they put on this particular leggings or they put on the lingerie and they go to the parties and the men celebrate them, then it encourages them to dress that way. But we as a society, we need to say, well, if this is the standard, this is what is our standard. And I mean, if you value yourself, as you begin to grow and as you begin to develop, you change your beliefs and you change your perceptions. And you don't want to be a parent, really. You don't want to have that kind of example for your daughters. You want to have a sense of, I would want to say decency and conservatism, that you value your space. And men have no right to slap you or to seize at you or to call you, or because you don't respond to them because of what you're wearing, because what you're wearing is for you, it is not for them. But at the same time, if we dress in a way, because you could have on a hijab, a whole purdah kind of thing, and men will call at you, because that's the nature of our culture. That's how we operate as a people. But we want to get to the point where we value our women, where the women value themselves, and we as a society value each other. Because if you have a diamond and you have a stone and you have a pawn and you're going to throw a rock to ripple, you're not going to throw your diamond away. So why would you want to throw your girls away and your women? The life in Leggings was beautiful because women got to tell their stories, and their stories made other women tell their stories. And group healing. So collectively, the women were speaking and they were healing, and there was like a birthing of a whole new movement, a whole new renaissance of togetherness towards liberation, towards equality, towards saying the end to domestic violence, the end to child violence, the end to children abuse, sexual abuse. The plethora of circumstances affecting our girls now it is terrible. So I think the Life in Leggings movement is very much needed. There's also the Red Flag, Dr. Tonya Haynes and Dr. Halima Deshong. They're also working to get people involved in the whole Leggings movement, in the whole movement towards women being appreciated and accepted as valuable creatures. We are the persons that usher life into the world. The religion of Ifa is really, when we speak of African spirituality, sometimes persons tend to see a racial kind of delay. They kind of see a racial barriers, but Ifa is really a notable color. It's about spirit, it's about life, it's about love, it's about divination, it's about knowing, it's about power. And to have a feminine deity, it can bring a sense of comfort, because of course, in Christianity, there's the patriarchal order. God is a man, Jesus is a man, the Holy Spirit is a man. So it seems that there's this male kind of dominance. And from the earliest kind of stories, you would hear of, this Eve did this bad thing and this body did this bad thing. And it's always the man that seems to rescue. So as women, and you look into the Christian tradition, for me to say Christianity, Ifa, Buddhism, Hinduism, the important thing for me at the end of the day is your personal relationship with the universe. That you can show love and you can show kindness and you can show just to be at one with yourself and your spirit, so that you can be part of a community. Because if you're experiencing all these different pulls and strains and you're confused, then you can't really fit into the whole. You will bring a sense of distortion.